roses too.
Please welcome.
I see them blue
The king of jazz.
for me and you.
The legendary.
And I think to myself,
Louis Armstrong.
What'd you say that now? Come on, y'all. Cause when you're smiling,
Keep on smiling. The whole world smiles.
yes, the whole world smiles. The whole world smiles with you. Ha! What a wonderful world. Oh, yeah.
Good afternoon and welcome back to My Harlem Portraits, the show that aims at shedding the light on the fundamental contribution of African Americans to the building of this country and on Black excellence. To represent Black excellence in the utmost way, as you can see, we have three beautiful, talented guests, three women who are now in this show that we are going to talk about, A Wonderful World, the Louis Armstrong musical, currently playing at the legendary Studio 54. My special guests are actresses JENNIE HARNEY-FLEMING and Darlesia CEARCY, playing two of the four wives who made Armstrong's career possible, and the multi-awarded renowned producer and activist Tonya Lee. Tonya Lewis Lee.
Yeah.
Welcome, ladies, to My Harlem Portraits.
Thank you. Thank you to be here.
Very honored to have you all here because this show is amazing. And you two ladies, the two wives, the four wives are all incredible, absolutely incredible. Your voices and your performing and everything is just amazing in that show.
Thank you.
So, as my viewers may remember, some time ago, we talked to James T. Lane, the alternate Louis Armstrong, and today we are going to discover the feminine contribution to Armstrong's success career spanning over 5 decades. So, okay, this show that absolutely must be seen takes place in 4 different chapters, 4 cities with 4 separate wives of Louis Armstrong. And each wife is as distinctive as the cities and the periods that they represent. We have the early 20th century in New Orleans, the bootlegger Chicago, JENNIE HARNEY-FLEMING is playing Lil Hardin, the Great Depression Hollywood, and the post-World War II New York City, and Darlesia CEARCY is playing Lucille Wilson.
Yes.
So let me start with the second wife. JENNIE, you are a theater and film actress. You performed on Broadway in Hamilton, The Color Purple, as Nettie, Half-Brother Pearl, for which you received a nomination, an Adelka nomination as Best Actress, and on national tours, Hamilton and Motown the Musical.
Right.
You playing his second wife, whom he met in Chicago, and was very instrumental in shaping his career. So tell me a little bit who Lil is.
Lil is a woman before her time. She also is very much the women that shaped most of us Black African-American women who are the unsung heroes, the matriarchs of our family. They pull everybody together. They have everybody pull up. they're very watchful and aware of the gifts and things that are inside of their brood, if you will. And that's Lil. She was someone who had to work her way up in the Chicago music industry, independent of anybody else's help. She had to figure out how to navigate that as a woman, as a Black woman in that time period, which, as you can imagine, was extremely challenging. She made a name for herself by herself. Um, and and then was tasked with keeping everybody else together. So when Louis came on the scene, it was a match made in heaven for that time, just because she was there to corral and bring those things out of him, and he was there to kind of soften her up a bit in a way that she wasn't allowed to be soft and vulnerable. But when the time came to move to another location, she just couldn't make that sacrifice because of what she had built with her own two hands. And I think that somehow, sometimes how women got stuck in that time period is that they couldn't move beyond the walls that they had built, the platform that they had built for themselves, because were she to uproot and go to Hollywood, she's just going to be, working from the ground up all over again. So, and not have the acclaim and not have the status and the things that she worked so hard for so long. So she is every Black matriarch that we have all seen in our households and our families.
And they did a lot of concerts together. They recorded
Yes,
together.
the Hot Five, yes.
She's really the one who started the idea of recording, right?
Yes, yeah. She was the one who had access to all the relationships to be able to set those things up, and had the designing eye to be able to tell Louis what he needed to do, and to, as you could see in the show, encourage him to step forward in a way that he never would have had it been left to his a mentor, King Joe. So she kind of pulled him out in a different way, and then was able to boost him up on this platform where you could really see all of the different facets of what he's capable of.
Like most women do. Darlesia.
Yes.
You are a theater and TV actress who appeared on Broadway in How to Dance in Ohio, in the Tony Award-winning revival of Once on This Island. You played Nettie in The Color Purple, Lottie G in Shuffle Along, and Sarah in Ragtime. And they had a Helen Hayes nomination for that. Then regional and national, you were in Next to Normal,
Yes.
with a CCC nominee, and Nina Simone, my hero, for women, which had a BTG award. And on TV, The Watchers, High Fidelity, FBI, and House of Cards. Tell me about Lucille Wilson, who is Louis Armstrong's fourth wife and last wife. And she was also the first Black woman who was admitted in chorus line at the Cotton Club.
Exactly. Lucille Wilson, her chapter takes place in New York. She was born in the Bronx, January 13th, 1914. She started her career by auditioning so that she could be a dancer, and she made a name for herself, and she did that so that she could also help take care of her family. She went on to be quite successful, traveling abroad, making a name for herself, really kind of redefining herself as a principal dancer before she returned back to New York, where she joined the Cotton Club. And the rules had really changed, because the rules of the Cotton Club ladies were very consistent up until she joined in about 1938. All of the women had to be 21 years or younger. They had to be lighter than a paper bag. They had to be at least 5'6" tall. And Lucille did not fit any of that criteria. She was the darkest among them. She was the shortest among them. She was also the oldest when she joined. She joined at the age of 26 years old. And she was able to, actually, she took the place of Josephine Baker, who had left. And Josephine Baker was literally the darkest person on that line before she left and went to Paris. So she came in thereafter, and this is when the wonderful historical legacy filled kind of relationship that we know exists because of Corona Queens in the library of Lucille and Louis Armstrong. They met in 1938 and they forged a relationship. They married in 1942 and they were together for 34 long years. Lucille helped to give him something that he had never had, stability and a home, and helped him to really kind of craft a different kind of man than what he was used to in recent past. And she helped to help create legacy for him, because without establishing him even beyond his death after he had died, she spent the latter 10 years post his death really kind of establishing like the US Open and getting his name on that building, and making sure that the home in Corona Queens was landmarked, and making sure that wherever she could, she supported, this man that she loved so much, and helped to create a legacy that we can really kind of pull from, so that we're actually able to do this show.
Wonderful. And you are amazing as well in that.
Thank you.
We come to Tonya Lewis Lee. You are a writer, director, and a theater, TV, and film producer with a 20-year career delivering quality content across multiple platforms. You are also a powerful women's rights activist and activist. Forbes named you in 2023 as a 50 over 50. Congratulations.
Thank you.
The rest of your career, I can't even start talking about, because otherwise we would go over an hour.
Yes.
We are going to have another conversation with you, just with you, about especially your women's rights and civil rights engagement. So
Right.
now I'm going to ask you, what made you come on this show as a producer? When did you decide that?
Yes, well, thank you for having me. And I will say that, over the years, I am traditionally a film and TV producer. I've had people approach me about producing for Broadway, and I have said no, because I know that producing a Broadway show is very different from TV and film, and that's hard enough as it is. The idea of producing a show is challenging to me. But I came on, first of all, because Vanessa Williams and her producing partner, Liz Curtis, brought me to the show. They brought the show to me, and I went to a rehearsal. And when I went to the rehearsal, I was really struck by a lot of things. First of all, obviously, the music of Louis Armstrong is just so wonderful, and when you hear it live, it's amazing. And when I was at the rehearsal, I think the idea of telling Louis' story really through these four women of his life was a really interesting, unique way into the story, and a way to showcase who the man was as a man, as an artist, and really tell the story of these women as well. And again, as I said, the music, the dancing, the show is just such a phenomenal show. And I saw it initially before it was even on the stage, and I knew there was something to it. And it was really my hope to come on to the show and to help just elevate and let people know that it was out there, and to get butts in the seats, as we say, because that's what the name of the game is in producing theater, is getting people to come to the show, and just getting people to see it. So I am just really tremendously proud of it. I was excited because Branford Marsalis was brought on to do the orchestrations and the music. So I knew the music was really right. We have Daryl Waters as well, who's involved. And so it's just a really wonderful, great team delivering an amazing show about a man whose legacy really does deserve to be told. And we need to be reminded of who he is, and not just who he is, but who the people were in his four wives who really helped him evolve throughout his life as well.
And for what you said, the fact that it's written in a way that is told by the four wives is also amazing, since it's a man who wrote.
Exactly. A very unique way to tell this story, unexpected, actually. And all of the actresses who play those, each actress who plays the role, I mean, they are foundational to who he is. You can see how the women really did help him develop and grow and evolve. So it's amazing. It's just really wonderful. And being a wife, it's just wonderful to see a show that really honors what it means to be in partnership, and how partnership really makes an impact on an artist, on a businessman. I mean, because these women were artists themselves, and they were business women too, that really helped Louis become a better artist and a better businessman.
And now that you said that you are a wife, I have to say that.
Yes, well.
Your husband is the great Spike Lee.
Yes, I am a wife of a man who is an incredible artist and businessman as well. And I certainly know my role in his life as well. So I must say, I do identify in a way, and personally really appreciate the story of partnership and what it means to be a partner to an artist. It's not easy. It's not an easy life, but it's a wonderful life.
And you know, when I read your bio right at the end, I saw how many incredible things you were doing. And at the end, I realized you were Spike Lee's wife. I said, now I understand. You too, yeah, you two are two geniuses, I think, who have put together, and you are feeding off each other.
Totally.
And that is,
and that's what we see in the show. Yes. Because that's what it is. I mean, I think people don't really understand, you think, oh, just the wife of, but there's really something going on that they need, that the men need and the women need from each other. And it is a give and take. And we are feeding off of each other, and we are inspiring each other and helping each other along the way. And I think that's why I just think it's such a beautiful way to tell this story.
Yes, I totally agree. It's one of the most beautiful shows I've seen.
And it's modern, and it's a modern way of telling the story, right? Because historically, when we tell the story of great men, we don't talk about the women. We'll say, oh yeah, his wife.
Yes, barely mentioned.
Yeah. Exactly. So I think it's a very modern approach to an important story.
Yes, absolutely. So for Jennie and Darlesia,
Yes.
how did you get to this show? How did you get this to play these roles? Darlesia or Jennie, whoever.
Okay, I'll go first. I think it was in the heart of the summer, actually, of 2024, that it came up on the radar, and my team let me know that they were looking for a Lucille. I heard that she was the hardest character to come by. And I got an additional phone call from a friend of mine saying, Darlesia, I think you would be really good for the character Lucille. And I went in and, read the material with the team, and I had a lot of fun. honestly. I hadn't had that kind of fun in a long time. I really loved the character. I loved this woman. I could identify with her. I understood her really clearly. And I enjoyed how intelligent she is. I enjoyed her business acumen. I really enjoyed the way she could maneuver around situations um, with skill and with a particular kind of temperament that allows her to achieve the goal.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it did something. It just, I had such a good time doing it. It just felt right. And, you know, as processes go, everything lined up, and I ended up, you know, being with the show as Lucille.
Wonderful.
Mm.
And Jenny.
Yes. Ironically, my husband was in the original production in 2020 when they did it down in Florida. At the time, I was very pregnant. And I took a maternity leave from my job at Hamilton to go down and visit him, and I saw the show. But then because of the pandemic, the show had to stop. The second time they did it, I was pregnant again. And so I wasn't able to do that production, nor was he, because it was around my due date with my second child. But then when they came to New York, I think in 2022, they did a reading and they invited me to be a part of the reading. And I've been on the project ever since. So I did the out of town production in Chicago and in New Orleans, and got an opportunity to build a closer relationship with the creative team, and to be able to vocalize how I felt and the research that I had done, and have some level of input. And so it just definitely feels like this production and this show itself, it's become very much intertwined with who I am as an artist today, and in the nature and the environment of my household, with going to work with my husband every day, as he is the tap dancer in the second act. And the choreographer of all the tap in the show. So there's also that the theme of partnership and you know, carrying each other and different ways that we show up for each other as artists that definitely reflect me as well. But that's my journey here, and I'm very proud and very happy.
Beautiful journey.
Yeah.
Beautiful journey. Tonya, what is the difference? Is it more or less challenging between producing a show that you have created, participated in, and TV, and in coming on to a show which is already on?
That I appreciate. That's a wonderful question. It is a challenge. I will say, I mean, I tend to be a creative producer, so I didn't come in to when things were being, the creative was really being worked. By the time I got really into the production, the creative was really set. And so I'm coming in really in support. And I'll tell you, for me, I'm really learning quite a lot. This is, for me, an opportunity to learn what it is to really produce a Broadway show. And so the challenges for me are really discovering what it means, not from the creative point of view. And I think there are very much probably similarities in terms of creative on film and Broadway shows, although it's a longer process. Probably things go a little longer. I will say, I do want to mention that on A Wonderful World, while there are 3 co-directors of the show, there's Chris Renshaw, there's also a Black woman by the name of Christina Seju, and the lead, James Englehart. They are all co-directed the show. And I think that says a lot, because we're taking voices from everywhere. And I really appreciated hearing what Jenny was saying, that her voice, she felt her voice was really heard and what she was bringing to the character. So it's interesting to hear how all of that really works. And for me now, where we are is a challenge, like I said, to figure out how to get the marketing out there in a crowded marketplace, letting people know what the show really is, and getting people to see it. And I will tell you, the wonderful thing that I'm hearing is that when people do go see the show, they are saying, "Oh my God, it's really good." You know, I don't know what they expect before they get there, but I think there is a sense like, "Oh wow, this isn't what I thought it was. This is really good," and it is. I mean, I think you come out of there feeling really good. So to me, the challenge, because once I make a film or a TV show, yes, we do market it and try to get people to see it, but then you move on. This is a nonstop, everyday, constant game about how do you get people in those seats. And that really, it really is a challenge. And we want to stay open as long as we can. And in order to stay open, we need people to go see the show. And that's a scary thing too. It's like you gotta, because people will say to me, "Well, how long is the show gonna run?" And I can't say, because it depends on making sure people go see the show.
It was the last question, because I think they're going to cut off, that I wanted to ask you. And was this, what is your wish for this show, for all of you? You're telling me, of course. But the good thing is that in this case, you don't have a show that is in a theater that is telling you in this date you got to close because we have another show coming on. So
that we have that. You're absolutely right. So as long as people come see the show, we're able to be in there. So we want people to know, we want people to come, we want people to tell other people to come. This show deserves that. And I'm just going to say, you ask what I want. I want this show to be on as long as it can. And then I want it to travel around the country. I want it to travel around the world, because I do think it's saying something really special. And I think people need to see it, and it deserves that.
I need 100% perfect. And I'm a Virgo from a certain point of view. And I found nothing that wasn't perfect in that show. It's fantastic. And you two ladies, what would you like for this show?
The same, actually. We would love for it to just run. We'd love to be able, after putting in all of the work that we've put in, and it's extensive, we're very passionate about what we do, to craft, my character. It takes a lot of very, very specific choices and a lot of investigation. And so I do that with a high level of commitment. And so in order to really kind of see all of that blossom the way that we'd love to, we need time, and we'd like for that to be a long, extended period of time just to run. That would be a blessing.
Yes, and I'd also love to see how it gets into the younger generation. I want more younger kids to be able to see jazz, appreciate Louis Armstrong, appreciate these stories and all the things that contributed to the music that they hear today that they have no idea the history of.
So, as we were saying, this show is really absolutely fantastic. And for me, is absolutely perfect. I haven't been able to find anything that is less than perfect, from the music, the choreography, the set, and of course, all the cast, the tapping, the choreography, everything is the costumes, the lighting, everything is wonderful. It's a show that I could see over and over again. So I predict that this show is going to be another Aladdin and another Lion King that's going to go on forever on Broadway. Also because of how famous Louis Armstrong was everywhere in the world. I mean, very few figures are well known all over the world in that way. And I was saying that in Italy, we have a big festival, which is a Sanremo festival. And Louis Armstrong was very, very often at the Sanremo festival. So together with Shirley Bassey and Diane.
There is this amazing photograph of Louis Armstrong in front of the Coliseum. And I believe Lillian was the fourth wife, was on the back.
Lucille.
Lucille, sorry, was on the back of the scooter with him. Have you seen this photograph?
I have
No?
seen that photograph.
It's an amazing photograph.
We got to find it because
Yeah.
that's very interesting. All right, so the last questions, the last question. What were the most rewarding moments and the most difficult moments for you two wives during your show? And for you, Tonya, when seeing it, what do you think? So let's start from Jenny.
For me, the most rewarding thing probably is seeing how really well everyone is showcased. It's really exciting to see so many incredible talents on the stage getting an opportunity to really just put it all out there and do what they're really, really good at without anybody, getting shortchanged or anything like that. The dancers are just dancing to their full capacity, singers singing to their full capacity. And like you said, all of the elements just kind of coming together. Everyone is putting forward their best work to make something collaboratively wonderful. And I think that is the beauty of theater, is that it doesn't land on one specific individual. Each moment is supported by all of the work that everybody does around us. Yeah. So I think that for me is the most thrilling thing, because 8 shows a week on the stage, every show is such a unique medium of art that you only get this. You never get the same show twice. Yes. You know what I mean? Each time it's alive, it's breathing, it's living, and getting to see everybody full throttle like that on a regular basis is just incredible and inspiring. I think that probably the biggest challenge is that we're talking about a very difficult time in history for Black people, and just we're touching on things throughout the show that are challenging, but in order to truly tell the story, we have to go there. And so it requires us to deal with things within ourselves, deal with things with our neighbors, or the people that are sitting alongside of us who have different experiences, and really challenge ourselves to look without turning our heads away, together, because that's the only way forward, right? So it's exciting because it does challenge us, and it does strike some very sensitive chords, but it also gives us the opportunity to make this truly a wonderful world, make the decisions that are required for us to contribute to making the world more wonderful.
Perfect, beautiful. Dee.
Thank you. And for me, there's a few exciting pieces that there are so many members of our company that are making or have made their Broadway debut with this show. And to see them go through the process of their first Broadway show and be thrilled to pieces and watching them shine, and that's been one of the most exciting things. Another thing is being able to tell a story that is so relevant to our time, and to know that we think that this is set in a particular time period and expands, the lifetime of Louis Armstrong, but we're literally speaking to all the concerns that existed then, just as they exist now. Yeah. And to be able to have that kind of conversation in real time is extremely exciting and very, very important. And I'm happy to be participating in that, to be able to really kind of bring the wives into central focus, and be able to shed light on the beauty of us as Black women. I find really, really incredible, and I mean internal beauty. I'm talking about the beauty of our intelligence, the beauty of our contribution, the beauty of really kind of being the support system behind this incredible man. One of the challenges is also knowing that as we are conducting this conversation, that sometimes his legacy and popularity may outshine the message at times. But I feel like we're doing our job the way we really should. And because chapter 4 specifically for, Louis and Lucille is very, very book heavy. It gives us a chance to really kind of listen and go through some of the tougher time periods too, that we encountered with Jim Crow and all of that, and be able to really kind of understand who he is and what he has contributed, versus a lot of the things that he was confronted with, about being a Black man. I'm glad that we get a chance to explore real life themes. And I was also talking about, what Jenny had mentioned. This is 8 shows a week, which can be considerably grueling.
Yes.
Given the amount of amazing work that we have been gifted to do, across the board with the entire company and in every department. There's a huge contribution there that's provided each and every single night, and everyone is committed 1,000%. And that's not easy to carry off each and every day. But we do it. And I think we're all grateful and much better for it. And that's a challenge, but it's also a grace.
Wonderful. It is. I don't know how you do it. I couldn't do that. And I have energy, but you need superwoman energy to do that. Tonya, the last word to you.
Well, I just have to say, for me, it is just incredibly rewarding to be a small part of this amazing team. I co-sign everything that Jenny and Darlesia have said. It is incredible to watch these artists come together and create such a beautiful show that hits on so many different touch points, and at the same time is so incredibly entertaining, and just so fun to watch. And it's exciting to me to see them bring this to audiences every night. And when I think about the challenges for me at this stage, it's about making sure as many people get a chance to see the show. As you say, he is an extremely famous person. A lot of people know the name Louis Armstrong, and yet we've got to make sure that people understand what a beautiful show they're going to come see, and to get them there. So it's a challenge that I take on, and I'm just so grateful that I get to witness and be a part of this amazing historical production.
It is really an amazing historical production. It is a beautiful production. I can see the love in between the people who are doing it. It shines through the show, and I think that's very, very important. Very, very important. So I am giving you my best wishes. I am going to see it again and again and again. Because I want this show to go on and on and on. And I have already sent a few people to see it who came from out of town. I sent them to see another show that I'm not telling, and your show. So
Well, thank you for
those
that.
are the 2 shows that I send everybody, go see this, go see this.
Thank you for your wonderful support.
Yes.
Thank you, because the reason why I do this show is exactly what we were talking about, is that, and especially the Black woman has had such a fundamental role in building this country. I cannot understand how still today there are the situation that we see. I started to do it after Eric Garner was killed.
Ah, yes.
I started to do this show because I felt that my friends who have kids, when they leave the house, I see them looking at the watch all the time.
Yeah.
Oh,
I cannot stand to see that a woman in
Mm.
her home country, in the country she built, she has to be scared that her son might not come back just because he went out to get some milk or something.
Yeah.
exactly.
Right.
It's so I want in Europe to see this stuff more because we do get some information, but we don't get all the information.
Uh-huh.
And the reason why George Floyd made such an impact was the fact that we were all home watching TV all the
Right.
time
Yes.
and we were doing nothing else. And so people paid attention. But I mean, that has been happening always. It was a new thing.
Yeah. Absolutely. I
But
have a son.
it's something new. It's not.
It's not. I have a son, and after Eric Garner was killed, I took him and we went to Washington and we participated in the march, and I just wanted him to be there and understand how to contribute and what he could possibly face and have
Yeah.
the right kind of conversations with him. So yeah, it's a lot to be a mom. It's a lot to be a Black mother.
Yeah.
It's to be a Black mom to a Black son.
In this country.
In this country. And I appreciate your allyship, Maria, because it's really important. And we need to come together as a people.
Yes.
And it's really meaningful for you to create space for us to come and have this conversation with you and for you to be a part of it. I think that's what Jenny was talking about a little bit about what the experience of the show is.
Yes.
How we come together and experience it because this is America.
Yeah.
And thank you for acknowledging what Black women have done for this country and continue to do for this country.
Right.
Absolutely. And I mean, this coming year is going to be very, very, very challenging. What's going on now, to me, is like having worked all my life in politics, is like, how is it possible? How is it possible that he's allowed to do certain things? This person, and I'm taking responsibility of what I'm saying, is a traitor. He has committed high treason. He shouldn't have been allowed to run. And this is on me. That's all.
My God.
Okay.
My God.
I love you, ladies. You're beautiful, you're talented, you're amazing. Thank you for having given me your time, especially when I know you have a show, right? Both of you, and you are probably going to watch it or you have got all other things to do. So you're all very busy and you're giving me my time. Your time, I'm very honored.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you so much for having us. Yes, thank you for having us.
So thank you so much. Bye-bye. And bye to my viewers. See you next Saturday, 12:30 on Spectrum 1993. And for all past episodes, 12:30 p.m. And for all past episodes, go on my YouTube channel, My Harlem Portraits. Bye-bye again. Ciao.
Bye-bye.